What is up, everyone? It's the team.
We're a team now.
Yeah.
That's
There's
right.
no I in team, and there's also no I in my name, unless you count my middle and my last name.
There's an I in pie, though.
Yeah, good. As you guys know, we're two Johns and a Mark, styled after that famous '90s sitcom.
Two Johns and a Mark.
Sorry. We are here to talk about holiday shopping guides, especially from us at Giga-Bites Café. What our top choices are, what you should be buying for your friends, or if you guys have no idea and you need a little bit of direction, we have a lot of good items that are perfect for people who are either like super into the hobby or maybe just getting started, like dabbing their toes in the water to see how it feels. Nice and warm, especially during these winter months. All right, so we're going to be going through and we're going to be kind of like talking about a little bit of everything. So some of these things that you might be aware of, but we're going to be kind of going at it from a gift perspective as necessarily like doing like a whole like talk about in-depth thing. A lot of the stuff is great for multiple different reasons, because one, it's usually either multi-purpose in itself. Multiple people can join in, especially during the holidays if you're spending time with friends and family, as most of us do.
As is mandatory.
Yeah. And also things that have a lifespan after just the holidays. Because the last thing you want to do is just like get them like,
Santa love letters.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, Christmas, and then we kind of got our fun out of it, and then we're moving forward. We want you to be able to give your loved ones something that will not only be what they want, but something that will last for them, and something that will, like, every time they crack open, let's say, like, that book, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, Mark got that for me for Christmas. That's really nice. Like, I'm going to treasure this, and I'm going to use this for a really long time. So, and we're going to kind of go off, and we're each going to do a little bit of talking. We're going to talk about our personal favorites. But, yeah, so, John, do you have a personal favorite Christmas gift idea for yourself?
A personal favorite, yes. I want to say it is some sort of board game this year. So the one thing that I love to do is introduce new people to the hobby, and not just the hobby, but tabletop gaming in general. And the easiest way to do that is board games, and it's board games that are fun, such as Takenoko, or Ticket to Ride, which we have in store. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, both those board games are absolutely great because they are not so entrenched in the hobby, like, I guess aesthetic, like, so Ticket to Ride is a fun game where you're building like trains across the US or whatever the expansion is. Takenoko is the bamboo shoots, so it's fun for a lot of people to engage with on a lot of different levels. And same with that, Mark's favorite game, he was just telling me about this right before we started the broadcast, is going to be for the holiday season.
Yeah, there we go. Glare.
Yeah,
glare.
Sorry.
All the way down. There you go.
All right.
There he is.
One is what
That's
it's called, though. So when I went on vacation earlier this month, I guess that looks better. I was able to play this with friends at a party night, and essentially the concept is everyone tries to give one word to describe the clue. If there are repeat words, the person guessing does not get that clue.
That's just one.
Yeah. But so I think the funnest part of the evening is when three people giving clues for the word Facebook all picked Zuckerberg. Yeah. And so, but my friend was able to still guess it with the word like. So he's like, Facebook? So I was like, bam, we still got it. So we still got the points. And so you go through 13 cards, and if you miss a guess, you burn a card. So basically, it's a cooperative game, but you're still just trying to get points, and your points are your ranking. So if you get 6, you're like, try again.
Yeah, so it's a fun party game. It's also social deduction. It's a great way to get people into it. And what I like about it the most is probably the 5-minute pitch. Yeah. Like, in 5 minutes or less, you can tell someone how to play the game. Yeah. And you guys can get playing. And it works for all ages. So this is great for, like, family trips where you're going to have, like, a lot of little ones running around, or heck, even like just adult get-togethers. Like, this is just a great way to get people in the mood and go for it. My favorite part is also that it can, like, so the age range is 8+, which is great for any sort of game. But it does 3 to 7 people, which I really enjoy the fact that it is kind of like an odd number that goes up, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you can fit a whole party in there. And if you really wanted to, you can go beyond that as well. Like, you can go up to 10 people. You just have to like start handing out sheets of paper for people to write down on.
And me and John actually tested this in at Fort Wayne. And it was only with 3 people, though, and we still managed to guess the same word. And zero clues for the person to figure out what it is.
And so it definitely happens. But I definitely recommend. So Just One's also at a great price point. It's around that $25 mark.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to pick up. It's a small box. You don't have to lug it around. So great if you are either mailing a gift out or traveling with it. And anyone who likes board games and they don't have this yet because it's a relatively new release, definitely pick it up. 100% recommend.
How about you, John?
So the board game I want to recommend is actually 5 Minute Marvel, for a lot of different reasons. One, who doesn't love the Marvel movies?
Right.
I absolutely do. Also, Netflix is about to add in a lot of Marvel movies, and this is another one. So this is great for someone who maybe likes the sci-fi superhero genre of movies and television show, but hasn't really gotten to board gaming yet. So this is a cooperative game. If anyone knows Sentinels of the Multiverse, this is kind of similar to Sentinels of the Multiverse, where each person's going to pick one of the Marvel heroes. And then you guys are going to do battle against some sort of boss, whether it's, Ultron or Thanos, or they have the Dr. Octopus Superior Spider-Man.
Ooh.
So, and the heroes range from like the Avengers to some more offbeat characters. Squirrel Girl's in it, which I know Mark's going to roll his eyes at.
Plot device. I hate that.
But yeah, so this is an absolutely great game. And it's also a really plus side because the whole 5 minute tag, the games are not supposed to take that long. You have a timer more or less with you. So you have 5 minutes to complete your tasks more or less.
And for those of you confused about Superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock, it's Doc Ock in Spider-Man's body.
Yeah. So with that, I really recommend this because one, if there's someone who's like a little bit more hesitant on board games, you're like, hey, listen, we can just play one mission. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And once you get them in that 5 minute mark, like finish that mission, they're going to want to do more. They're going to be like, oh, that's it. Like, yeah, I want to keep playing. Because that to me is one of my biggest obstacles.
Having great starting and stopping points is actually a key to keeping people interested. If it's like Monopoly, where it's like, all right, we've played for 3 hours, let's take a break, go get food, and come back and be at each other's throats again. Like it's not like that. If you have a good point to start, good point to stop, it definitely brings in a crowd.
Yeah, and it's something to think about too, where it's just like, all right, cool. Like you play one round of 5 minutes. Timmy had a blast, but now Timmy wants to go get some pie. Like Mark can then go jump in to Timmy's spot because once again, it's Newman, grab a new card, all that sort of good stuff. So it is a great holiday buy. Once again, it's at that $25 mark. It's a board game. You can fit, I want to say, how many people? Oh, 2 to 5 players. Yeah. So it's a great thing for families. Definitely recommend. I love the art style personally to it. And then it also has the fact that, hey, it's Marvel. So even if they're just kind of a Marvel fan, they're going to find some enjoyment out of just going through the artwork and seeing the cards and things like that. So would definitely recommend. So yeah, we have one more board game to talk about.
Yay.
And it's an expansion. Oh, sorry. It's an expansion to a really popular one.
I thought it was standalone, basically.
Well, it's standalone,
but it has an expansion.
Yeah. So this is the new Azul. So we just got it. It's the stained glass of Sintra.
Exactly. So if you're a fan of the aesthetics of the board game Azul, this just takes it up a notch as well.
Correct.
With the stained glass pieces.
Yeah.
And
So
an alternate mode of play.
Yeah, you've played a little bit more Azul than I have. But it's basically like a pattern game, a pattern recognition game. You're collecting these tiles, you're laying them down, you're trying to complete your work as quickly as possible. This is just going to expand on what you already know. So if you have a board game fanatic who is always kind of looking for the next big thing, and they already have Azul, this is a great pickup for them. It's once again like it has the same quality. It's just more depth to the game that they already love.
Yeah.
So I like it, and once again, as Mark said before, it's a standalone, so you don't have to buy the previous copy to enjoy this one. So once again, it's a great pickup for the holiday.
It's a gameplay upgrade. It's an aesthetic upgrade. So overall,
can you show the box off again?
So
And as a hybrid transition to our topic number 2, which is war games, Blackstone Fortress is effectively a board game with miniatures.
Correct. And so this one is for the 40K guys, or people who are thinking about 40K, or maybe you know someone, because this actually comes up quite a bit working at the store, is someone who's really entrenched into the 40K lore and the books and the storyline, but maybe hasn't picked up any models yet. Blackstone Fortress is a cooperative dungeon crawl game set in the 40K universe. And it takes characters from all different places of the galaxy, whether they're humans or Eldar, the space elves, or the Kroot, which are these weird alien birdmen,
or the Man of Iron.
Yeah, the Man of Iron, who is a sentient robot, trying to hide the fact that he is a sentient robot.
Yep.
And it throws them together, it puts them in a weird alien dungeon where they have to crawl through. They not only have to fight the security systems in that dungeon, but also the forces of chaos.
Yeah.
So the models are gorgeous. They're easy to put together, and it's hours and hours of gameplay to it. So this is great for people who like kind of role playing, or like the Gloomhaven folks, things like that. It's a really in-depth board game. And also all these miniatures can be used in a 40K collection outside of the game. So it's a great transition thing. So get them into the board game, and they can pick the ones that they want to build into an army.
And I believe they're doing kill team profiles for them.
Oh yeah, that would be wonderful.
They absolutely are. Oh, the Marvel box.
The Marvel. Yeah, look at that. Great artwork.
So the Blackstone Fortress is a little bit more expensive, but you definitely get the bang for your buck. It's $150, but you are getting a slew of minis, plus really, really nice board game components to it, with the decks of cards, because all the monsters and NPCs kind of operate with an AI. And then on top of that, all of your characters have upgrades and dice and things like that to go on through there.
So it's funny that you say they operate with an AI. Does the Man of Iron operate with an AI?
No, you actually control that. Yeah.
He's a legit autonomous person, you know, kind of.
Yeah, but it's really cool, and each one of the characters has a different gameplay to them. So there's a lot of rewarding replay ability to the game. Even if like you have a character die, like let's say your priest dies, you can come back as the Rattling Twins. So instead of one kind of pompous old man, you get these two diminutive thieves, more or less. So it's really cool. I definitely recommend it. And it's a great gift for people who are just getting to 40K, or who have been in 40K and you don't necessarily know what you need to get them to complete their collection, because anyone can make use of it.
What's crazy is, and it's not so much a board game, but as far as like getting into a game because of the lore, Vermintide.
Oh yeah.
Just all that old Warhammer Fantasy stuff that I've been hooked.
And speaking of all that old Warhammer Fantasy stuff,
this
is a good transition.
Wonderful tie-in. So Realm Slayer.
So this is actually an audio
novel.
It's not an audio novel, because it's different than that. It's an audio drama.
Yeah, I guess so.
What's the difference?
So the difference between an audio novel and an audio drama is a novel is basically you have a couple of one to several narrators reading the text of the book. The drama is a full set of voice actors taking the entire cast, giving them different voices, coming in with sound effects, music, having a narrator kind of displaying it. It's like the old time radio shows.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
And so this is a really great one, because this book, this audio drama, Realm Slayer, takes the transition from the old world of Warhammer Fantasy into the new Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And it stars Brian Blessed. And if anyone who doesn't know who Brian Blessed is, he is the king of the Hawkmen from Flash Gordon movies. He's been in several other like sci-fi and fantasy shows and things like that. But he has this great bombastic, deep voice that is perfect for a dwarf.
And he definitely plays a pompous jerk really well. I listened to this, and just Gotrek is just hilariously just full of himself, and rightfully so. So as far as the lore for Age of Sigmar is concerned, the Fire Slayers put this metal into rune shapes and put it in themselves to become very powerful. And this dwarf who just shows up from the old world, unaltered, just beats the crap out of them.
Yeah. So this one is a great transitionary period. Like, so those who were just like, oh, they just killed off the world to reset their game. It's like, no, there's actually ties from the old world into the new world, and it flows together.
Yeah.
The Gotrek novel series were one of the most popular ones from the old Warhammer Fantasy books, and they now have brought that character from the old world into the new world, and they do it through like a really cool way to make sure that his world is treated with respect while bringing it to the new one. And it's so funny because basically you have all these guys who are just like, why are you so weird? And he's just like, why are you guys so weird? But it's over 4 hours of an audio drama plus a bunch of special features. It is a really good pickup. This is for the collectors, the people that love the Gotrek story, or those that are really into Warhammer Fantasy, or even Age of Sigmar. It's a great way to experience that world.
You experience both.
Yeah, you get to see both. And anyone that has a long commute or just loves audiobooks, pick this up. Realm Slayer is a great pickup.
Yeah, it's 4 CDs of story, and then they have a bonus CD of all the voice actors.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, so with this wargaming thing, we're going to split it kind of into two. One part's going to be for new players, for things that you want to give to a new player, and then the other one's going to be for veteran players. So to start with new players, we have things such as the battle forces for Games Workshop.
Yeah. Yes. So Games Workshop's really great for getting people into the hobby. It's almost like they know that an important part of their business is getting new players in. So there's multiple different ways to start off each one of those particular games, whether it's Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40,000. Mm-hmm. The first one is going to be the starter boxes. We have Soul Wars up here, which is the starter box for Age of Sigmar. This is for anyone who wants to get into Age of Sigmar because it is a complete one-stop shop. It is a massive tome of fantastic minis, and it also has the full-on rulebook in it. And so this has both the spooky, scary undead and the Stormcast in it as well. So if you like either of these armies, it is a windmill slam deal. Mm-hmm. Like the price tag's $160, but you're getting over that value even if you just play one of those armies.
So like it would be what normally? How much for the? It's a hardback rulebook in there.
Yeah, so it's $60 for the book. Period.
Yeah, so basically $50 for each army.
Yeah,
that's what you're.
Oh, that's not a sequitur. Yeah. Oops. I'm showing off some of the Night Haunt. So I painted these for Christmas time. They're covered in blood for the blood god, and then this one's my sleigh bell Night Haunt. It's the one that has the death knell. But I painted it with a gold bell, and he's not done with him yet, but that's a fun one.
And so with this, it's a great way to expand into the mortal realms of Age of Sigmar. But if you don't like either of those two armies, Games Workshop has start collecting for pretty much every single faction in Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000. So all you have to do is kind of figure out what your giftee is kind of into, and you can pick them up that start collecting. They design it in such a way to where you can have multiple start collectings, and usually most people start with 2 start collecting to really get into the game. Yep. Because most of the pieces in there can either be built multiple different ways, or it's just great to have more of those guys. Mm-hmm. Those start collectings start at $85. And then there's some bundles that are sometimes less or more. Just kind of depends what they have. Yeah. But those are absolutely fantastic. And speaking of bundles, Games Workshop is releasing, I want to say 10 holiday bundles this year.
Yes, 10, I think. Yep.
We don't currently have them in yet, but we will be getting them soon. Mm-hmm. It'll be 6 of the Warhammer 40,000 bundles and 4 for Age of Sigmar. These are going to be a little bit more than the start collecting. I want to say they're usually going to be around $150 to more. But this is kind of a whole army package. And it's really, really great for people who want to start a new army, whether you're a veteran or not, just because of how much you get in that bundle. It's usually 30% savings at least on every single package.
Let's see if we can do it from memory. We have Imperial Fists, there's Gene Stealer Cults, there's the Blue Boys, Ultramarines. Yeah. What else?
Death Guard.
Yeah.
Did you say AdMech? Because AdMech's in
there. Yeah, they're one of the big ones there. AdMech.
And that was great. And the last one, I can't remember if it's Orcs or if it's something different. It might
definitely
be something...
shouldn't be Imperium.
No, it's not Imperium. There's one other like Xenos one.
They probably want to do Orcs since they had.
It's either Orcs or Tau or something like that. But I know the ones for Age of Sigmar is Deepkin, Lizardmen, or
to Darkness.
Slaves to Darkness, and then the last one,
Seraphon.
No, No, I said Seraphon.
Oh, okay.
Seraphon.
Sorry.
No Skaven, is it?
It's not Skaven. Oh man, now I'm forgetting the last one. It's probably Stormcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's hard to avoid Stormcast.
But yeah, so they these are all great things to purchase. I want to say we're getting them in next week, so we'll have a little bit more in depth on that next week. So it's something definitely to look out for, especially if you want to get something big for your loved ones. Maybe want to start a new army. Seraphon's always a good choice because they're Aztec lizards riding dinosaurs.
You would say that.
I know, best army in the game. Deepkin are also pretty cool because they are the quasi-evil underwater elves riding sea creatures into battle.
Yeah, kind of lawful evil.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, they're evil because they have to be.
Yeah.
Right. Now, for non-GW stuff, you have things, and I've got this box here to show off. You always have, a lot of these games have starter sets. So I got the Dust starter set right here. What happens is, when you're first starting a game and you're a new player, you oftentimes need some of the accessories that go along with the game, not just the models. So the cool thing about Dust and several other games, I believe Bolt Action does the same thing. They basically give you an entire box full of some accessories, and then for things like Dust, 2 players, if you get a friend a starter box, you can play a full game with it. So in Bolt Action, you can play a full game with just one 2-player starter set, which is great.
Yeah, so there's a lot of game accessories that we have on the store. One of the big ones that we've really ramped up over the last couple of months is terrain in itself.
Yeah.
And so this is great for your friends that that play at home, or even want to do something specific for their particular army, is come in and pick up a terrain kit or two to really let them kind of explore their home world or their faction, things like that. Those are really good. We actually just got a bunch of accessories in also for Monster Apocalypse, which I'll go grab 1 or 2 for.
So this one is one of our pre-built sets. This one is pre-painted onto these little cardboard things. All you do is super glue them and assemble them together. And this thing is pretty tall. I would say it's 12 to 14 inches high. And so this is perfect for Wizard's Tower, I think is what it's officially called. And it's great for those who don't want to have to paint their houses and buildings. So it's all 2D. As you can see, it's flat surfaces, but it looks 3D when you're playing it on the table. So it's quite cool.
And those things are great for whether you're playing fantasy or historicals or anything really.
RPGs.
A lot of the stuff works. Yeah, RPGs works absolutely great. Some things that we got from Monster Apocalypse from Tectonic Craft Studios. This is great for your fanatics like myself. Sorry, these...
It does need to be glued together.
Well, it's modular. So switch this out at any point.
But the sides,
usually. So this is a force carrying tray. It lets you basically take one tournament style force with you everywhere you want or everywhere you go. It's nice and compact. You don't have to worry about it too much. I absolutely love it.
But it holds both your monsters and your units.
Yeah.
So there's little notches in some of these that will hold like the smaller squares in place in a 2x2.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about things flipping over. Yeah. I really like it because it holds up to 20 units and up to 4 monsters or, monsters and buildings, whatever you want to do. So if you guys are playing like a lot of events or you just want to transport your Monster Apocalypse a little bit more easily, that's me. I'm sick and tired of like dragging in this giant tray every time I come to work. But we also have the dice tray.
Yes.
So this is going to be a little bit better than carrying or throwing your dice down on this paper mat. It is a dice tray that you can easily maneuver your dice around, between whether or not you're rolling or whatever. So it's a great pickup for the Monpoc players, just because it's save them a lot of hassle, at least in my mind.
Well, dice trays in general, we have the Dice Head dice trays, which have a velvet interior and a faux leather outside. So with those, the cool thing about the Dice Head ones is that they start off flat, and then they have buttons that you push together and to form the dice tray, so you can put it in your backpack for easy storage. Some of the other dice trays, they get a little cumbersome. So for instance, I brought this over here to show you, this is one of those good old dice towers. This thing has got to be, 14 inches high. And it can come apart like that, but you still got the big old box of the dice tower. And it's a really cool thing, but you want to be able to have easy storage, because one of the big things as gamers is for us to be able to fit everything into our cars easily. And so having that nice flat dice tray is awesome. But we also have the modular, or the dice towers, right, Mark, from the Are they MDF that we have?
Yeah, we do have those as well. Well, another thing that's MDF that we have that John handed me are, as far as mom pack goes, are these. They are the apartment buildings.
Yes.
So if you're not a fan of the cutouts, then you can definitely switch to these, which are definitely have more weight to it. So it's not like you a gust of wind will knock that apartment out of place. You can get a bigger sensation when you slam your enemy monster into what weighs just as much as them.
Yeah, and they're styled to be the exact same size as the apartment buildings you get from Privateer Press. So they're a great buy. And so all this stuff is for the mom pop player who literally has everything. Because I know there's a couple of collectors that are here in the store that just buy one of each whenever a new wave comes out.
I would like to have a map called Mega City 1 that is literally just a road and everything else is apartment buildings.
Oh, man.
New York City.
Just do like a Die Hard map where it's just like apartment building after apartment building.
Love it. That's great.
But yeah. So we want to transition from the hobby accessories to maybe the hobby supplies and things like that.
Yeah. This is actually where I'm super excited about. It's what I always wanted for the store, or things like this. So a lot of times, back when I spent more time
tilt it down a little bit.
Time at Giga-Bites, was people would always ask for paint suggestions for models that they were painting. And so obviously you can't just use 3 colors and be done. But these sets are perfect starters. So if I were to say you need to buy this paint, this paint, this paint, this paint, and keep going, eventually that price tag would just jump up, jump up, because they give you the normal amount of paint. Well, these give you the nice size dropper bottles that are exactly what you need for such as your D&D models and things like that without breaking the bank. So this one here actually comes with a model as well, so you can practice on it before you move to your D&D model.
So
like $25.
Yeah, like, and so that's usually the number one question I get asked while I'm here in the store. They're like, "Hey, what paints do I need to get started?" And I'm like, "Well, you're going to be looking at least 10 paints to get going." And this isn't like an exaggeration or just me, like, talking out my butt. I would usually recommend about 10. And this starter set is amazing because you get exactly 10 in it.
And a paintbrush.
And a model. For $25. So this is really, really great for anyone who plays D&D or maybe wants to start painting minis, whether it's, Warhammer or Monster Apocalypse or Dust or any of the other miniature games that we carry.
And this gets even better now.
Yeah, so it's a really great starter for that. So for $25, heck, you can even count it as like a stocking stuffer. It's really great.
Yeah.
So if you want to go even further, we have the monster painting set, which comes with 36 paints.
Yes.
And an exclusive owlbear. So if you are a fan of collecting all the D&D models that have been coming out, you get an exclusive one out of this package. And it also has, it's paints, washes, and metals, and one effect.
Yeah, so this one's really great for people who like to crank it up to 11, especially when they first get started.
Yeah.
The 36 paints is going to be paints that are well-rounded enough to where you can basically accomplish most of the effects that you want to do on a mini. So maybe for someone who knows a little bit about miniature painting but doesn't necessarily have everything yet.
Yeah, and it still gives you that nice price tag on not having to break the bank to get all those colors.
Correct. Yeah, $80 for 36 paints is astounding. Yes. Especially when you consider most paints in a line are going to be about $4 per bottle. So it is a great get-starting set for anyone, especially for probably the intermediate level. Really great for that.
Speaking as someone with 300 plus paints, that's having a consistent theme like that. So what the company puts the paints together, perfect gift.
Yeah. Since D&D is such a big thing for us, we also have a couple other D&D items for folks. The first one being the Waterdeep Dragon Heist dice. Don't really pay attention to the name all that much. This works for really any campaign. And it's not even that themed towards Dragon Heist.
It is not. They're just cool.
Yeah, they're an amazing set of dice made by the people at Wizards after listening to thousands upon thousands upon thousands of feedback regarding what they want to see in a dice set. So
you have life counter and you have 2d20s for that advantage disadvantage roll. I think last time when I talked with you, John, I mentioned that perhaps the Guilds of Ravnica D&D thing had 2, but sadly they replaced the other D20 with that guild dice.
Yes, Guild D10.
Yeah.
So the Dragon Heist dice, it gives you that gold life counter. It gives you an oversized D20, which is great for
the showing off when
Yeah.
you want to do that really important roll that
Correct,
you know
yeah.
I'll eventually fail if it's me.
And I love the fact that the dice are super readable. They are this nice royal blue and gold on them, and it is great for any collector or anyone who's getting into D&D. It's a nice little set. And for the life counter, I've seen people use it to keep track of their initiative, or keep track of their inspiration points and things like that. So like, there's multiple different ways to use it.
I just immediately imagine like a headstrong rogue is like, this is my initiative. It's like, isn't that a life counter? I won't be taking damage.
But it's a really great pickup. Once again, it's around that $25 mark. So it's a great gift. And no one can ever say no to more dice. So you can never go wrong with picking up dice for your role player. So.
Especially those that like to punish dice by removing them.
Yeah, exactly. Putting in dice timeout.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next thing on our D&D list is going to be the massive, the tome. So this is the collector's edition, the Holidays Collector's Edition for Dungeons & Dragons. It is a box set that contains the player's handbook, the DM guide, the monster manual, and a DM screen. It's absolutely great for anyone into Dungeons & Dragons. Even if they have all those books already, this is a limited edition set which has, you know, a special style of cover to it. It also is in a box set, which makes it super easy to carry and bring around with you. It has been highly popular and really sought after. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, $170, but it is actually the same cost of buying all those books individually for the person.
Yeah.
You know, Wizards is really great with their collector's editions. They never hike up the price just because they're limited. They just offer it to you guys at the same price. Just there's not as many out there.
Yeah.
So it is great to pick up, but once it's gone, it's gone. We won't have any more. We won't be able to get any more. So those people who are collectors or the gotta have types, definitely something to pick up for them. So yeah. Stocking stuffers. I wanted to keep this with the stocking stuffers. This is the Space Marine Heroes box. So Games Workshop has started bringing over to America these limited collectible Space Marines. And so they're all different styles. They're snap fit. They're really easy to get together. Once again, like picking up that paint set, you'd be able to like finish whatever Marine you got.
Yeah. And Games Workshop even has their own like little paint sets that are meant for specific chapters.
So yeah, once again, if you have a 40K fan, you don't know what to get them, pick them up a Space Marine Hero. Like they're limited, they're collectible. I know multiple people have said, hey, even if I already have that guy, I'll use his bits for something else, which is kind of cool. And I love to see the fact that we're getting these like character Marines coming out that are just going to be absolutely phenomenal.
And they have pretty good poses for Marines. I'll show that one off. I primed that one already. So this one's running forward with his bolt gun.
They're really dynamic, and they're filled with a lot of flavor to them. The first wave was like Ultramarines, but once again, you don't have to paint them that way. You can kind of do your own thing.
Yeah, minor fists.
Coming out sometime in the near future, which will also be absolutely fantastic. So these guys are filled with a lot of cool stuff. So I'm personally glad to see the collectible element coming to 40K, and they're $7 a pop. So like, easy to pick up and just grab.
Yeah.
So with that, we've kind of covered all of our favorite things, but we also really want to talk about like what makes a good gift in general. And we kind of touched on it at the beginning of the show, but we definitely want to reiterate. When you pick up a gift for someone, definitely think about who you're buying for.
Like, are they a patient person?
Yes.
Will they be happy with a 10-minute setup?
Correct.
If so, you know,
a
giant, massive army might not be the best bet. You might want to start with some small elite.
Yeah, like
Custodies.
Warhammer World, or board game, things like that. Reading your audience and reading the place you're going to is definitely a plus. And always getting something that will last is a great way to get started. So something that like, oh, hey, I know this guy's going to be playing this for months to come, which is a really good thing to get for someone. So definitely looking at your items and trying to keep it somewhere trying to keep it somewhere memorable and all that sort of thing. Like, you know, certain characters, things like that. Someone will be like, "Oh, hey, Mark, I remember Mark. He got me this Zangor Shaman. Like, you know, like I always use him. I paint him up special for Mark. All that sort of good stuff. Or maybe a new game system like Monster Apocalypse. Starter sets are always really good because it gets someone into a new game. And especially if it's something that you are interested in as well. Like, you know, you get him a starter set and you're like, okay, cool. I'll pick up a starter set for myself. Let's learn and play this game together. Starting a new game together is a great way to spend a holiday with like either family members or a friend.
Yep, and starter sets also like remove the necessity of picking up that paraphernalia and the accessories at the beginning, because you know they want you in the game. They want you ready to play right out of the box. So they'll provide the dice. They'll provide like measuring tools or a map and stuff like that. Yeah. So once again, starters are great for that unpack and go ability. Like I opened it Christmas morning, and you know, right at lunch we played our first game.
Yeah, exactly. And I always love the starter set as well, because like, let's say Mark never played Monster Apocalypse, but he was like, it's like, I'm kind of interested in it, but I don't necessarily want to put the investment in to get started. Be like, well, Merry Christmas, Mark. Here's your starter. Yeah. And you're gonna be like, okay, great. That removes the barrier of entry for me. So let's play this together. And then I will hook Mark into it because it's a fun game and he gets to play with me. And I'm a fun person, right?
Now, another thing to do for people that could be really useful is having a hobby party with them. So you give them a gift of a, you know, let's say assembling, you know, Space Marines, and they're like, "What's a sprue? What is this all about?" Take some time with them, and then show them how to do it with them. You know.
Yeah, and that's something that I love with the hobby is that like most people think about the amount of time that they put into it just with playing games, but that's only a fraction of it. A lot of it is, you know, getting together with your friends, like. I remember, and this will be a memory burned in my skull probably until the day I die, what actually got me into everything was going to a LAN party at a place, and me and my friends saw that they had War Machine starters on the wall. And we each bought one, and we made a day to where we each bought it. We went to our friend's house. We spent the night assembling it and painting it. By the way, when you're like 14 and you spend a day assembling and painting and then playing, those paint jobs probably aren't going to hold up. But hey, we did it.
You did it.
And then we built paint and learned how to play all night together. And we were up till like 4 a.m. We picked up the starter at noon, and we finally crashed at 4 a.m. But this was after a day of learning how to play the game together. And that was just kind of such a nice experience, and will always kind of stick with me on how I kind of want to go about getting into hobbies with other people, is getting in with a small group and learning together and experiencing it together.
And being able to mentor someone is super satisfying.
Yeah. I mean, like, even if you guys are learning together, I think learning together and figuring out the rules together is also a great way to do it. Making those mistakes and laughing about it, where we're like, oh man, that was super broken. No wonder that rule doesn't work that way. But like, you know, it's one of those things. Embracing the hobby together is a great way. And to me, it fits in with the Christmas together. You know, like it's about spending time with those people that you love. The holidays are all about that, whether it's something, whether it's just a day or the whole month, is find something that you like with your friends, build it, play it, enjoy the experience together. And that works with either role-playing, board games, miniature games. Anything that we do here at Giga-Bites Café involves you interacting with another human being face. And I personally love that for a holiday gift. Something that you guys get to do together.
You know, get off that Faces books and interact with other people.
Put down your cell phone for a little bit, interact together, play a board game. Absolutely great for holiday events. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, sitting around tabletop has been enshrined in culture forever. You know, eating food, but then now playing games. You know,
so
it's a beautiful thing, y'all. Yeah. Let's talk about some events and stuff like that, like such as the Yeti Bowl.
Yes. Yeah. So the Yeti Bowl is coming up quick, guys. So we are about 2 weeks away. The Yeti Bowl is a War Machine Horde team tournament, and so how that works is, you and two of your friends, or two people that you like, or two people you at least know, will form a team. You get to build your lists. And what happens is we aren't doing like a 3-on-3 game. But what happens is at the beginning of each round, each team will pair up its members versus the other team. So
Okay.
like, we will have Mark say, "Hey, I don't really want to play against Scorn. Do your best not to match me up against that Scorn guy." And you guys can kind of maneuver your matchups, each taking turns on who gets paired against who. So it's a 2-day event, but we are starting it on Friday night. Friday night, we will have casual play, kind of like a meet and greet, play together, get to know the other folks joining the team. I might be doing an impromptu Monster Apocalypse event for those people who want to come down and play Monpoc before they do a 2-day.
Test out these nice carrying trays.
Before the actual event itself. So it is going to be a blast. And even if for some reason your team doesn't want to go into day 2 or doesn't make it into day 2, we're running a champions tournament all Sunday. So that will be a singles event. So it is 100% a great time to come play. If you have some holiday hours or just want to hang out at Giga-Bites for the weekend, check out the Yeti Bowl. We'll be having more information and a look at more of our prize support as the weeks get closer to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, other events that we have coming up is Slay Mecha Santa Claus. Rob was talking about. Do you want to get the door for Stanley?
Yeah, I'll get that.
So details are still coming, but this is going to be a twist on our usual annual Save Santa event, where Santa's sick and tired of having to be saved by people, so he has made a giant robotic version of himself that maybe has gone awry, and it's up to us and everyone else who joins the event to maybe bring it down a peg or two, so it doesn't destroy the universe.
I think Rob officially chose Mecha Santa Must Die.
Yes, Mecha Santa Must Die is the name of the event. So it'll be a fantastic event coming up, and that'll be the weekend after the Yeti Bowl. So this is something for the 40K players. Each player will be given an allotted amount of points that they're going to be able to build their army out of. It'll be a massive event with multiple people throughout the entire table space. It might take up 2 rows of tables. We don't know yet. So something to look forward to. With that, we also have, we have our next chip challenges coming up for Giga-Bites. You know, we're doing historical month throughout November. It will be the mythical month of December coming up.
Nice.
And so we're having we're once again dividing into teams, and it will transfer into a bonus that will probably be on the eve of Christmas. So something to look forward to. So yeah,
I think that covers quite a bit. We covered.
Yeah, and we're also starting to get shipments in and all that good stuff. So we probably need to be taking off pretty soon.
Yes. And the new Dust releases just came in, right? Do we have the new Hellgate books yet?
I haven't seen the books yet. Sorry, I just got in and we started doing the cast basically right as we got going. So
we'll post them as soon as we know when they come in. But
absolutely,
all kinds of good stuff, man. This whole holiday season. So y'all, if you're in the Atlanta area, come on by Giga-Bites Cafe, check it out, walk around the retail space, and then you can either create a gift list for yourself to give to other people and say, hey, if you're going to buy me a gift, go ahead and get me something for Giga-Bites. And if you're not, we can ship, right, John?
Yep, absolutely.
So if you're out of state, out of town, wherever, and you see an item on our store page, just message us, and then we can tell you what shipping will be like. We have a lot of items that are hard to get in other places, so give us a message.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. And if you have any other questions about gift guides or anything like that, always feel free to message the store. We have a wonderful staff who is super familiar with all the products here. So just message us and we'll help you out as best we can.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye now.